Yes, legends, and welcome back to session 13 of this 52-week Mindset Mastery 2.0 course for high performers, high achievers, and business owners. So, I'm just going to recap ever so slightly on session 12. So we went through stopping asking, who am I? Because that doesn't even exist. It's just an identity creation based on a past set of beliefs and programming, and start asking, who am I becoming and who do I want to become? Because as I discussed, we become the product of our thoughts, our choices, and our actions. So you, my friend, can become whoever the fuck you want to be, and you can achieve whatever the fuck you want to achieve. Say it out loud now. I can become whoever I want to be. I can achieve anything I want to achieve. I can live in that villa, but I'm going to have to do the work. I'm going to have to stop telling lies. I'm going to have to stop making excuses. These next sessions are going to be very, very hard hitting, because who you are, or who you think you are, or what you think is possible actually doesn't exist. It's merely an illusion based on an old identity you've built up around stories from the past and the programming of other people. Listen to that again. That's what I posted in the group. How powerful is that? Who you are doesn't exist. It's merely an illusion clinging onto an old identity that you've built up around stories from the past and the programming of other people. Tattoo that on the backs of your eyelids. So today we are going to discuss confronting the devil. As I said, this is the first part of the next section of this course. So that might sound very absurd, and you might be thinking, what on earth is Lee talking about? Has he taken his medication today? Why do I need to confront the devil? Okay. And what the hell does confronting the devil have to do with getting in shape or building a business? Yeah, it's probably the most valuable thing that you can ever do, because the devil is you. The devil is your dark side. Every single one of us has a light side and a dark side, a positive side and a negative side, a happy side and a sad side. And most of all, every single one of us has a constructive side and a destructive side. Drop me a yes, yes, yes in the comments right now if you have periods of your life where you're constructing, you're building, you're winning, and then this destructive force, aka the devil, aka the truth, comes over and just destroys and sabotages your entire life. Because understanding the dark, destructive side of yourself and how to handle him or her is one of the most important things that you are ever going to do. Because success often comes from learning to manage this side of yourself, not just building up, backslapping, and rewarding the winning one. Now, we all face struggles, we all face challenge, we all face adversity. If you are not facing struggles, challenge, or adversity with your body or business, you are quite frankly not playing big enough. But if we can't handle the dark side, we'll never reach the good side. And as soon as we do, we'll go right ahead and self-sabotage whatever we've built up without even thinking about it. And what we've built will burn to the ground in just the same amount of time. Sound familiar? Drop me a yes with the word or the word sabotage if you have a history of doing great, building things up, getting where you want to go, and then sabotaging it. Now, remember, whether it's getting results with your body, getting lean, building muscle, dropping body fat, or with your business, a deep understanding of mindset and your behavior is more important than anything else. So why is facing your dark side so important? Why is facing the destructive side so important? Why is facing the negative side so important? Because if we're struggling, what we tend to do is, and especially business owners, listen up carefully now. If we are struggling with our business, or we're struggling with money, or we're struggling with training or nutrition, we straight away we go and look at the nutrition plan or the coach or the training plan. If it's money and business, we dive into the business and spend hours working without clarity. How do we make more money? What's going wrong? Where do we need to save money? Where do we need to pull things back? And almost without fail, what we really needed to do was stop, leave the business, leave the nutrition, leave the training, and look inside of ourselves. Step outside of the problem and look at the cause. Because ultimately, whatever's going on in our life, we are the cause, whether we want to admit that or not. Now, the problems with your body or your business are almost a direct result every single time of what's going on in your personal life. Trust me, you are never going to win in body and business if you're in a miserable relationship. Without any shadow of a doubt. You are never going to win in body and business if there's multiple decisions, be it friends, family, or intimate relationships, that you know damn well you should have made a long time ago, but you haven't found the courage to. You know, you will never win in body and business. Every single person watching this has something that they know they need to deal with, but they haven't yet. Now, if you can't fix you, you'll never fix the body. If you can't fix you, you'll never fix the business. It's like trying to put a plaster on a broken leg. It's not going to work, which is why, I don't do this mindset coaching for you guys for my health. I'm not sat here on Friday morning recording 4 more sessions that took probably 24 hours of research because it's just a bit of extra value added content to the course. This is the difference between winning and losing. This is what will change your life. And we've got another 39 weeks of it now. This is session 13. So keep going, keep studying, keep looking inside of yourself, because when you truly understand all sides of yourself, good and bad, trust me, life gets easier. Drop me a hell yes right now if you're ready for that and you're ready for success to feel easy. Now, have you ever wondered why sometimes you are so positive, so motivated, and so driven, and yet the next day you're tired, angry, reactive, and depressed? Sometimes you're proactive, sometimes you're reactive. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. As I said, very often you're constructive for a long period and then you become very destructive, and whatever you built, you sabotage. Why is it that you get started and quit? Why is it that you believe that you can have that villa and then life takes over and all of a sudden you talk yourself out of your dreams? You start saying things like it is what it is. Things like this never happened to me. Like there's 2 versions of yourself, right? There's a positive, happy, driven, constructive version, and then there's the devil. How often have you done this? Got a big win and then you go and self-sabotage. Like I remember literally being in a world of pain in business. Anyone who's followed me for over 6 or 7 years will remember me talking about this. It was around the original ADHD diagnosis. And I was like, I'd been hiding away. I'd been in denial, which is session 15. And I came within 2 weeks of not being able to make payroll, not being able to pay the bills. I was renting that 5-bedroom barn conversion with 3 acres, which was $2,500 a month, just to show the world how fucking big my dick was. Because I'd become, obsessed with success and validation and showing the world how much money I was making when I wasn't really. I leased the Range Rover. You guys know the story by now. So, I'd got into a bit of a pit. At one point, my outgoings were 19 grand. So I had to make 19 grand through music, through DJ, and through production, through the fitness business, just to be level. I was paying all the bills on this house. Nat and I had separated, most of them. And so I was paying my own rent on that, 2.5 grand. I was paying the mortgage, both cars, and everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. In denial. Anyway, got a handle on things, wound some costs down, dug deep in the business, made a 5k sale for my business mentorship, which kind of eradicated a lot of pain. And the first thing I did was went and bought an eighth of an ounce of cocaine, a big bottle of vodka, went on a party and had an absolute bender. So no sooner had I got myself out of the pain, I went and put myself in a world of pain through choice. And whether it's something like that, or food, or buying something material, you guys will do this. Like some people, like they're in financial pain. The second they make money, they then spend it. They're in body pain. The second they lose 3 stone, they quit the plan and they go and put 3 stone back on. Multiple ones of you, I'm not going to say names like last time, are watching this. You've been in this program 5 or 6 times and you've done the same, right? You've lost 3 stone. Then you've messaged me 6 months later, Lee, I put it all back on. Okay. Because no sooner did you create the win, you went and sabotaged it. So if you want to be successful and keep success, you need to master 2 things. One is the subject. So you're not going to be a successful coach without understanding marketing and social media unless you can afford to pay someone else to do it. You're not going to become a successful coach without understanding training or nutrition. You're not going to get a body transformation result without knowing how to train and going to the gym. So you have to understand the subject, but you need the mindset. You need those 2 things, right? You need to understand the subject and you need the mindset. Now you must also be able to control your emotions and your behavior. Because again, if not, I could give you the best plan in the world. If you can't stop drinking every time you get emotional, if you can't stop eating every time you feel low, if you can't stop spending money every time you make money, then the quality of what I'm delivering to you, if you sabotage every time you win, becomes irrelevant. Now, all successful people, I've invested easily in excess of £250,000, be it from studio engineers and production people and producers in my music career, to stuff within the club, to business mentors, to fitness, to social media courses, everything. I've invested thousands to be around successful people and learn from them. And every single one of them is a master of themselves before their body or before their business. So life isn't about how you respond when it's going well, unless you respond in that way by fucking it all up. Life is about how you respond when things get tough, how you handle setbacks, how you handle adversity, how you handle challenge. Okay? And your results will always be in line with your ability to handle challenge, adversity, setbacks, and uncertainty. Your ability to handle risk and fear. Everybody can win when they're winning. How do you respond when you're not winning? Now, I've always wanted to be successful. I've always wanted to be the best ever since I started playing rugby, I think. I just wanted to be the best. I wanted the adulation, I wanted the significance, I wanted the validation. I wasn't getting that from my dad and my stepmom. I wasn't getting any love, I wasn't getting any attention, so I found somewhere else I could get it. Okay? Now, if you are this person and you want to be the best, you want to have the biggest business, you want to have the best body, you want success, why sometimes is your behavior the direct fucking opposite of what you say you want and who you say you want to be? Like, we're going to come on to this really heavily in the next 3 sessions. This is a bit of a longer one, this. But you can't say, Lee Freeman, I want a multi-million-pound business, I want to change the world, I want to impact people on a global level, and then start sniffing on a Friday night and finish on a Sunday, and then the whole week be a freaking car crash because your energy's all over the shop, you're eating shit trying to pick yourself back up, you've boozed all weekend, you've made mistakes, now you're battling guilt, regret and shame. Now, that person is not going to be the business owner. That person is not going to be the fitness model. That person's not going to be the music producer. Now, very often, like when people say, oh, I want to lose weight, I'd do anything to lose weight. Oh, but I'm not tracking calories. Calorie counting doesn't work for me. Fuck off. Calorie counting works for everyone. What you mean is you're a lazy shit and you can't be arsed. If that hurt, good. You know, exactly the same as it would have hurt me. Someone saying, oh, you're moaning about this in your business. Well, actually, why don't you stop drinking and getting smashed for 3 days every weekend and then see how many problems you have in your business the week after? We all make up things, right, about, you know, we can't get the dream that we want without doing the things that we need to get them. That's Disneyland thinking. I want to get in great shape, but I don't really want to train, track food, stop drinking or control my calories. Like, you have to be willing to do things that you don't want to do and change who you are if you want results. Okay? Like, you know, I want to lose weight, but I'm not willing to give up takeaways. You know, I want to heal my mental health, but I'm not willing to give up getting smashed with the lads at the football every Saturday. You can't have both. So why do we state what we want and talk about the life that we want and then do the direct fucking opposite? Why do you say you want to give up drinking to me, multiple of you watching this, at fucking 9 o'clock on Monday, and by 9 p.m. on Monday, you're drinking a glass of wine? You didn't even make it 12 hours after what you said. Why are we in that constant cycle that we just can't stop? Why do we say one thing and do the other? Because it's the dark side of us. It's the devil. Comment yes if you've been in this cycle or you are now. You make money, you spend money. You make money, you spend money. You lose weight, you gain weight. You stop drinking, you start drinking. And you always end up in the same place, whether it's doing nothing and staying the same, whether it's doing great and then burning it to the ground, or it's having the big wins and then going sabotaging them straight away. Almost like you're not in control, right? And that dark side just keeps pulling you back. No sooner do you get success that you go and fuck it up. And it keeps pulling you back to the old you, and it's painful and it's exhausting. And do you know how I know why? Because I did it for 10 fucking years. So if you got really triggered by the calorie counting doesn't work for me because you've said that, don't get triggered. Because if you're getting triggered, it's that you're still not willing to own up to the truth. I can now say here, I did that for 10 years. I want to be a businessman. I didn't. I wanted to party. I was kind of in the middle. I wasn't really doing the work. And then I was moaning about the results I wasn't getting with the work that I wasn't doing. And I was stuck there for 10 years. One step forwards, one step back. One step forwards, one step back. Until you realise you'd never go anywhere. Like mine used to be a 3-month repetition cycle, right? I'd get sober, I'd build the business up, I'd make loads of money, I'd get in shape, and then I'd fucking self-destruct. For a full week. It would start with a Friday night, go out, party Friday, Saturday, sometimes into Sunday. Then all week, miserable, mardy, horrible in my relationship, fucked off with business, everyone did my head in, everything stressed me out, nothing's working. Right now I'm in the shit again, right now I need to stop all that because I need to recover. Build it back up for 3 months and then do the same thing again. It's classic ADHD, it's classic business owner cycle, and it's classic body transformation cycle. The amount of you that have come in here and done 90 days and lost between 4 and 5 stone and then stopped and then messaged me 3 months later to tell me that you've gained 4 or 5 stone and you need my help again is off the scale. So I know for a fact you get it. So comment repeat if you do feel like you keep repeating the same cycles. So we're always back to the same place and we never actually go anywhere. Same with body, business, life, relationships. Same old story, get fit, get fat. Make money, spend money. Get sober, get fucked. Happy relationship, burn it to the ground. Now, we all have a baseline, right, of what we think is acceptable. So for me, generally, and I'm not a rich man, if my personal or my business bank account are both over £5,000 with no debt, I'm okay. If they both go down to 0, I'm starting to get a little bit worried. If they then both go down to minus 3k and I'm like, shit, I need to make 6k just to get back to 0, I'm in blind panic and I'm shitting myself and I take hard action until I fixed it. 12 stone, all good. 14 stone, probably no one's going to notice with my t-shirt on. 16 stone, fuck, blind panic, you need to sort this out, you've got fat again. There's always levels of good, okay, and panic. There's levels of feeling sharp, being okay, being depressed. There's levels of 0 parties in a month, 4 parties in a month, 12 parties in a month. Everything has levels. We've got levels where we're okay at, which can be dangerous because then we drift. We've got levels where we go into blind panic because the pain's so hard, and we've got levels where we get lazy because we're like, I don't really need to do a post today. I've got 10 grand. I've got 10 grand. And then it goes to 8, and then it goes to 6, and then it goes to 4. And it's like, fuck, now that bill's just come out. Shit, I need to change this. Fuck, I've put 4 stone on. So I'm not going to sugarcoat this today, the rest of this. Sorry guys, I know this is a long training. I have nearly finished before we wrap up for 17-14, before we come on to session 14. So any form of partying, any form of alcohol, any form of drugs, any form of binge eating, pornography, gambling, all the things we do for dopamine, fucks your mental state, fucks your energy, fucks your sleep, and fucks your productivity. That's never going to change. No matter what you want to tell yourself that it doesn't, you're lying to yourself. You're in denial, which is going to be a massive session. Session 15 and 16 are all pretty much about some personal shares from me, and how we stay in denial and how it keeps us stuck and how we learn to face the truth, or face the music, as some of you might say. But essentially, I have never ever seen a ripped, lean, super happy entrepreneur in a beautiful, loving relationship who regularly gets pissed. They just don't exist. I've definitely not seen one who sniffs cocaine every weekend. I've definitely never met one who's obsessed with wanking off over pornography and is in the bookies placing football accumulators every weekend. They just don't align. I'm not saying I will have a couple of glasses of Prosecco tonight and I will enjoy them, but it won't affect my mental state. It won't go past 2, and I will still be at my desk at 4 a.m. tomorrow. That's the difference. I'm not saying every single one of you needs to go teetotal, but you know, I've never seen a rippling entrepreneur who gets pissed all weekend. They just don't exist. Okay? Big results with your body or business need clarity. They need mental sharpness. They need productivity. And you cannot get that when you're drinking or partying. The best thing I ever did was stopping binge drinking, taking drugs. Like, you cannot take drugs and win in life. Your dopamine will be lower than a fucking whore's drawers 7 days afterwards until you manage to rebuild it. Very similar with alcohol. It's like any form of mental state, right? It's like pouring accelerant on a fire. You put the fire out, oh, self-soothing like a baby because you've had a drink. All the pain's gone away, and it all comes back 10 times worse. And then the next morning you're tired, you're miserable, you're mardy, you've not slept, the kids are kicking off, you've fallen out with a husband or wife, and repeat. So, as I said, the best thing I ever did was stopping binge drinking and stopping taking drugs. And I guarantee you it will be for you as well. Now, as I said, I do not know a single person who's successful with their body and business who gets hammered, eats shit, and doesn't train. Because you can't have both. Okay? I need you guys to understand that alcohol is a depressant. If you're drinking more than once a week and more than 2 or 3 glasses for fun, then you have a problem and you will not build your dream body. You will not build your dream business. Fair enough, maybe once you've got a couple of million in the bank and you're shredded, you'd probably be able to do it more than you can now if you haven't got those things. But again, you're still going to have to get a handle on it, because you'll get to the point where things will start to come down and still you'll start to panic, okay? Now, again, it's different for different people. Like, if you can go on big nights out and control it to 1 or 2 glasses, then fine. If you can have one line and then stop there, then fine. If you can just place one bet and then stop there, great. But I sure as hell can't. And I don't think I've met many people that go on a night out and just have 1 glass, or go to a rave and start taking drugs and they just have like a little bit at the beginning. It doesn't happen, right? You can't have both lives. You can't have a life where you drink, you party, you take drugs, you go to the football and get smashed every Saturday, you eat shit, but you also want to be an uber successful businessman who lives in that villa, drives a Range Rover, and has X amount of money in the bank account and a ripped lean physique. You cannot have both. So many people are under this illusion that they can, because they're not willing to admit the real problem and what's holding them back from having that thing, which is what we're massively going to come on to in session 14. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. This is the decision you need to make. Which one do I want most? Do I want the wine or do I want the beautiful toned stomach when I go on holiday this year? Okay. Do I want the party life or do I want the beautiful loving relationship with my partner and my kids? Do I want the business, the villa, the money, the car? Or do I want to not work weekends, roll out of bed 10 minutes before work, not overcome the fear of starting a business and clock off at 5 o'clock? Because you can't have both. Like, I started work at 4 o'clock this morning planning some of these sessions, and I will be on Power Room live with you guys in 2 hours. I will work until 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, and then if I get some quiet time tonight, I'll probably do a couple more, as well as outreach and updating my social medias. And on and off, outside of a 4 or 5 hour block, got a good 4 or 5 hour block tomorrow when we're going to Meadowhall. Going to play some crazy golf, going to do some bowling, but I will still be up and do 4 hours work on a Saturday morning before my family's out of bed, because that, and the future I want is more important to me than lying in bed, snoozing, sniffing, drinking, wasting my life away, or not being able to control my dark side. Guys, I'll see you on session 14. Big love.